Good morning, everyone, and we'd like to welcome you to today's show of the Rene and Ralu Show. And we are here simulcasting once again to our self-help and to our hypnosis clients on several channels. And today's show is going to be very interesting. We're going to be speaking about the Delta brainwave state, psychic ability, where that comes from, and about a famous psychic named Baba Vanga from Bulgaria. She's done all kinds of predictions, and Raluca's going to talk about that. That's her baby. And before we get started, I'm Rainey, and
I'm Ralu. Good morning, everyone. Don't forget, before we get going, to hit the subscribe button to be part of our community.
very good.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and start, as they say in Maine.
Let's go ahead and start. Yeah.
So we wanted to speak to you about, actually, Raluca's been telling me about this Baba Vanga person, and she's very interesting. So she's going to be talking about that because I have a hard time saying the name. I keep on saying Baby Vanga and Kawabunga, and she says, no, say it right. Okay, so that's going to be her baby. But let's start talking about psychic ability and where it comes from. The Delta brainwave state, or the universal consciousness, or some people even call it the fourth dimension. Exactly. So you got to think, when you're dealing with the Delta brainwave state, you're dealing with a whole different creature. We're used to beta. Okay, right now you're in the beta brainwave state. It has the five senses of, I always miss one: sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch. I got them all five.
He got them this time.
So those are the physical traits, because remember, we're blended beings, part physical and part spiritual. So part mortal and part this universal consciousness, because that's where we came from, is the consciousness on the other side. And we came here, became mortal beings or physical body. And we go through our lives still with a foot in both worlds, but it tends to get more beta, more physical, and we tend to let go of the other part. But that's where psychic ability is. So since it's the Delta brainwave state, since it's not physical, it works from a whole different realm, it's like a different planet. Okay, so think of the third dimension right now, which is our five senses. And what is the fourth dimension? Well, the fourth dimension is adding space-time. So we have our three dimensions of going forward, backwards, up, down. So depth, as we have it. We're 3D beings, but we have time and we have distance. The fourth dimension, there's no time. Everything is now. There's no distance. Everything is right here. Matter of fact, if you were a fourth dimensional being, you can reach into a cupboard and pull something out of the cupboard from China, from Iran, from Germany, because everything is right here. You can touch something from the 1800s or something from the future. There's no time. There's no space. Okay, so we can't comprehend that because we can't see that. So what else do we have as blended beings that's in the fourth dimension? Our thought. You can't see thought. You can't see frequency. That kind of permeates all of the different dimensions. So we do have that ability. What we think becomes reality in that voidless substance. That's the whole law of attraction, what it's all about. So when we think of psychic ability, the more we relax, as we're taught with the brainwave states, right now you're in beta, you close your eyes, block out, just closing your eyes blocks out 80% of beta, so you're 80% in alpha. Alpha is the beginning of relaxation, the beginning of meditation, the beginning of hypnosis. It's the animal state where animals spend most of their time.
I was going to say, there are many different kinds of states. There's beta, alpha, theta, and delta. As Rennie is trying to tell you, that delta is one of the deepest states you can go on. And that's where psychic ability operates, right?
Theta, we're in all delta states simultaneously too, but one happens to be dominant. So you relax more. When you get to that point where you're teetering, we call it the alpha theta state, where you're kind of drooping off to fall asleep or daydreaming. That's the alpha theta. Then you go into theta, which is your dreaming state. and then delta, which is the universal consciousness, where everything is one, where thought is everything. You see what I
Mhm.
mean? It's
Mhm.
universal. Whenever you have a thought, that's where it goes. So when psychics do their work, okay, and they say, I'm going to read your mind, they're not reading your mind, they're reading mind.
Mind.
Because
Yeah.
right now we have distance, okay? We don't have that time space. So we have distance. I'm the observer, you're the observer. We're two different people. But
Yeah.
over there, it's only one. It's the power of now. It's the oneness. Everything's together. So it's just reading thought. So that's the amazing thing to understand. So when psychics do their work, they need to do their work in theta and in delta, and
Mhm.
this universal consciousness. Now,
Mhm.
remember, Ralu, the time we went to, where was it? Philadelphia. This is once we lived there for a while,
Yeah.
but we came
Yeah.
back here. We're living up here, and a group of 18 Russian psychics asked us to come down and teach them about psychic ability,
Yeah.
which was kind of interesting.
They
So
wanted
we
to
went
know
to,
how psychic ability works for them. How is it that
Mhm.
they to understand themselves better and to basically perform better through hypnosis? Yeah.
So when we walked in this close knit group of 18 psychics, okay, they didn't know us, so we were on their turf. So we walked in with our briefcases and our bags and kind of spread out a table. I had a cloth on this table, and I started putting. Let's see if I could find it. I started putting these cups on the table, and I had four of them, and I
Mhm.
had a quarter underneath one, and so the head lady, I like to call Madame Gigi.
Gigi.
Okay. That's a little sarcasm there. But anyways, the head lady, the one that was obviously in charge, walks right up to the table, and she, before I was even ready, she lifts up a cup. She goes, "It's under here," like that. And she was wrong. It wasn't under there. This was a very good lesson, and a lesson
Mm.
for you too. So I saw she was a little embarrassed because all her followers or her group were watching her, and she was wrong. So I said, okay, here's what I'd like you to do. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. And I set it back up, put the quarter someplace else. I said, now open your eyes. Now, where is it? She goes, under here. She picked up the other one and
Yeah.
she
Right.
got it right. Now, why would that have happened? Well, when she came, she was trying to show off. She was trying to put us in our
Mhm.
places and, like, what can you teach us? And to show off to the others. And what happened was she was using ego. Her ego was coming up, and ego is in the beta brainwave state. It's the mortal part of us, the body, okay, the physicalness. There's no ego in the subconscious. So she brought herself right to beta when she did that, and there is no psychic ability in beta. In beta, I'm me, Raluca's her. I don't know what she's thinking. She
We're
don't know. We're
separated. Mhm.
exactly just like a horse with the binders, can't see anywhere. So when I told her to take a deep breath and relax, okay, those binders came off, because as soon as you relax, you go 80% in alpha, and
Yeah.
consciousness starts to cross over. And of course, since she's a psychic, she's able to go through these depths a lot quicker and a lot deeper. So she was able to go theta, delta. So now it wasn't a matter of where is the quarter. You're not looking through the cup. You can't see through this cup. I don't care how psychic you are. Okay. It's a matter of where is it? She knows it in her mind, because if I did it, it's part of consciousness. So it's not reading my mind, it's reading mind. She
Yeah.
was able to get it, which was a good lesson. There's no psychic ability in beta. You need to relax. You need to go to the deeper states. The deeper you go, the more of this consciousness, universal consciousness, or the fourth dimension you can open up and think into, because that's where everything is in that dimension of thought. So I thought that was a
Exactly. Yeah.
unique lesson. And of course,
Mhm.
we continued to. We went there, like I said, to teach them psychic
Yeah.
ability. We were there to teach them
How?
how their
Yeah.
psychic ability worked. Where is psychic ability? What you have to attain to be able to do it. I mean, if you're going to
Mhm.
work with the pendulum, you only need to be an alpha. Past life regression, alpha, theta. If you're going to do life between lives, you need to be in delta. If you're going to do outer body experience, or that's a deeper part of delta. If you're going to do astral travel, now you're getting close to epsilon, which is the coma state. And like Ralu
Mm.
said before, there's a lot of different states. There's also gamma, there's lambda, there's, so there's a bunch of different ones, but they're all connected. We experience all of them at different times. But which one's dominant? If your dominant is beta, you're not going to do psychic ability. But like I said, they're all
Right.
kind of there. You ever been really busy working in the beta state and all of a sudden you reach for the phone, you pick it up and go, "Hi, Mom."
Mm-hmm.
How do you know she was there? The phone didn't
Mm-hmm.
even ring. You had a theta premonition. Or you look behind you, you feel something, your alpha is telling you, hey, there's something. You turn around and somebody's staring at you. How do you know? Yeah. It's like this morning, I walked around the bed to Raluca's side and I was like right here looking at her. She opened her eyes. How did she know I was there? Okay, she was sleeping. She was probably in theta, alpha
Yeah.
theta, and she's like, something's not right. She opened her eyes and, no, what are you doing?
I felt your magnetic field.
Yeah. And of course, I told her, I'm just checking to see if you're breathing. I'll put the pillow away.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah. That's how it
No,
goes.
folks,
Every
we're
day,
joking.
every minute.
That will be in the paper tomorrow. No, we're
Mm-hmm.
just joking, folks. So that's basically where psychic ability is, where you have to be for it to work. And Ralu, it's time to speak about Kawabunga.
Before that, though, I want to add to it.
Baby
I
Bunga. I'm just teasing.
Baba Vanga.
Ba-
It was
I messed it up again, baby.
you did. You did, but that's okay. That's
Oh
okay.
boy.
Yeah. Yeah, her story is interesting, but before I get to that, I want to say I really like the story of Edgar Casey
Mhm.
because he used to be called a sleeping prophet because he'd go to Delta, as he says it. He says because he was asked, "How do you do this?" He says, "I'm going to Delta where there's no past, there's no future, everything just is all at once." And that's how he was able to predict stuff in the future and how to. He did a lot of healing. He would um, receive clients, and then he would tell them what the disease they had was and what plants to use to make potions to heal themselves. So, but I thought it was interesting how he said that he goes in the delta brainwave state where everything is all at once. There's no past, there's no future, everything just is.
And think of some of the
Yeah.
others that
And
do
I,
that.
yeah.
There's Esther Hicks with the teachings of
Mm-hmm.
Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, she closes her eyes, brings herself to Delta, opens her eyes, and she's speaking from the spiritual world. Or even the teachings of Seth before that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
the teachings of Seth, the same thing. Where,
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, when you listen to Seth speak, she speaks quite often
Yeah.
about the fourth
The
dimension.
fourth,
She
the
calls
fifth
it that.
dimension. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fifth dimension. She talks a lot
Yeah.
about it, but it's pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, so they're accessing that as well.
My mom has a friend and she's pretty powerful.
Mhm.
She is a psychic. I mean, it's the kind of lady that you do not want her to give you a reading. That's how accurate this lady is. And she does
Give the
coffee
eye.
reading. She does coffee reading. But I think that the coffee reading is just kind of like the tarot deck that you use just as a extension of your gift. You go to her house and she will make you the coffee. She will make you coffee herself, and then you drink the coffee. And I think that I notice her, she takes a deep breath, relaxes, and after you finish drinking the coffee, she makes the coffee the old-fashioned way, the Turkish way, and you flip the cup over and you allow the grinds of the coffee that's at the bottom to kind of fall down on the walls of the cup. Then what she does is she picks up the cup, she starts rotating the cup and tells you what the answer to whatever the question it was. And she is really scary accurate. She's not a famous person, but you do not go to see her unless you have a serious question. I don't want to go to see her because I know because she says stuff that is, yeah, pretty accurate. So yeah.
I wonder if she could do that with decaf.
Regular decaf, whatever you want, she can do it. Yeah, but she has to make you the coffee, so that's
Yeah.
really interesting. Yeah.
The
All
reading's
right,
not
so
so bad. With decaf, I figured, it's a little lighter.
no, I think that she look in the coffee and she'd say, "See, if there, I see this and I see that." And normally you look at the coffee and the grinds and you go, "Yeah, okay, it just looks like weird stuff." But she says, "Here's a tree over there. Do you see this tree? This tree means this and that." And all of a sudden you look at the cup and I'm like, "Oh my God, there is a tree in there. Oh wow, how did you do that? Did you arrange the coffee grinds yourself?" Well, yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. It's just, I think it's just it's just an extension of, she does that. That's how she is able to access her delta brainwave, I think, through doing that. Baba Vanga is an interesting story. I really like reading and hearing about her. There's a lot on YouTube about it, but she was a 12-year-old girl. She was playing with her friends in a field, and she got caught up in a freak storm. As a result of that, she couldn't open her eyes anymore because the sand was so, she got lifted off the ground and then just completely dropped to the in the field. But after that, she just couldn't open her eyes anymore. The sand, and it caused such traumatic thing for her that her eyes, if you look at the pictures online, they're completely shut and closed because the storm affected her in a really nasty way. And yeah, the tornado just completely took her vision away. So that's how it all started. Because strangely, after her eyes were completely shut and closed, she developed a pretty powerful psychic ability, from what they say. And she started predicting various things. She actually was called the Nostradamus of the Balkans. With I'd say 80%. A lot of people studied her, and um, just really, again, scary accuracy that she did. About 80% accuracy. For example, one of the things that she predicted was the 9/11. She said exactly, I'm trying to get to the text, the American brothers will fall after being attacked by the steel birds. This prediction was done in 1989.
Hmm.
So I thought that was interesting. So a lot of people of great power actually over time went to see her, and she also predicted the that President Barack Obama was going to be president. Um, many things, storms, different events that happened throughout the world. There's a long list of what she predicted. And it's funny because she lost her vision, but then I think that her story is interesting. It sounds like The Flash, that movie, The Flash, how he got hit by lightning and all of a sudden he became the fastest man alive. This is all fiction, but she got caught
A
up into this,
meta-human, they
a
call them.
meta human. Yeah, she got caught up in
Yeah.
this freak storm, and all of a sudden she lost her vision. And there's got to be some kind of a charge or something that I don't know. It's just really interesting. And she did predictions and things like that for many years. So from somebody who was just a simple peasant, a simple person, to all of a sudden become so widely known. She didn't really, I'm sure she didn't know, I guess she didn't have access to television or anything like that. So it was really interesting. There was no way for her to know certain things that were happening in the world.
We all
Yeah.
do have
And
psychic
yeah,
ability. And that's the thing. We all
yeah.
have psychic ability. When we teach our metaphysics courses,
Mhm.
past life and metaphysics course we have, one of the things I teach people is you can go see a psychic, okay, and they can go into Delta and read your mind and tell your future and all that, or you can do it yourself. You don't even have to go that deep because it's for you. You can just go into Theta or the lighter stages and find out about yourself. So we all have that ability, but we spend so much time in Beta, we don't go over there.
Yeah.
We probably spend 90% of our time in beta and maybe 10% in theta, or in delta when we sleep. Because when you sleep, you dream in theta. And when you get that dead weight type thing, you're in delta,
Mm-hmm.
which is a dreamless state. But if we're able to spend more time, if we're able to relax, number one, we virtually eliminate stress because there is no stress in theta and deeper. Stress comes from the lighter sides of alpha, but beta. We create stress. So there's no stress in theta. That's why I tell people, if you want to get rid of stress, bring yourself to the now.
Yeah.
So, and we all can do that. But the more you relax, we all have that psychic ability. We can all develop it. And that's very important to know.
One thing that she said that was interesting, and that's all I've got about her. You can all go and read about her on YouTube and online. But she said that she also was able to communicate with extraterrestrials,
Hmm.
and they were. She says they were this invisible creatures, but she can sense them, and she says she gave these ETs, I guess, shared many secrets with her, and she says some of these secrets are locked inside scriptures of many religions. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, she said
Hmm.
she was able to communicate with extraterrestrials. So
Dee, dee, dee,
yeah.
dee, dee. I'll be
I mean,
making mashed potato mountains tonight.
she did predict, like, powerful people went to see her, from what I understand. So real interesting. They wanted to know what's in their future. That's how popular. Like I said, they call it the Nostradamus of the Balkans.
So, folks, if you'd like to know what's in your future, go to the link below and get our free manual for
Yeah.
hypnosis. Learn about hypnosis, learn about self help, about the
Brainwave
possibilities that
state.
you have, how you
Hmm.
are a blended being with one foot in both worlds,
Hmm.
and learn more about the other foot. Because, we're talking about this, about with coaching, a coaching course we're working on. It's like, if you can have more of a balance of physical and spiritual, the more balance you can get with the spiritual side, relieving stress, most of your issues have to do with going against the stream,
Yeah.
trying to fight what's natural. We live a linear in the physical world. Okay. It's a linear life. We have a beginning and an end. So you're constantly supposed to be moving forward, forward, forward throughout your life if you want to have a smooth life. But what creates problems? When you start living in the
Resistance.
past, the
Resistance.
resistance. You got to
Yeah.
go with the flow in this life, or you're creating a dam in the flow. When I say with the flow, it's like a river. If you put a dam in the river, what happens? There's trouble. It all
Yeah.
dams up and gunks up and all that. And that's what you're doing to your life. So if we're linear beings supposed to be moving forward, and you're having a problem in the past, whether it be PTSD, whether it be a bad childhood, whether it's something that you're always going back to and saying, woe is me, this is my life, you need to break that dam. You need to get the flow going forward. And if you keep on moving with the flow, do what feels right, follow that intuition, which is on the spiritual side, you'll have so many less problems
Hmm.
in this life. You'll be able to move ahead. You'll have a free feeling, free flowing, happier life. So learn more about it. And like I said, we're here to help. That's what we do. So go to the link. So with hypnosis, the link below, there's our courses. There's our learn more about hypnosis, how your mind works. And if you want to learn more about how you work, self-help, go to the Rene and Ralu channel
Yeah.
and get our free book there. Wake up and see who you are. And that's what we're speaking about every Monday through Friday. We come on with the Rene and Ralu show, showing you how you are a blended being and how to use both sides properly. So that's all I have. And I
Hmm.
want to thank you folks all for watching. We appreciate you having you here. And like I said, go to the links below. And as always, I give Ralu the last word.
I like to thank you all for watching too. Another week went by, right? This is Friday, right? I understand that. And it was super fun being live with you on Rene and Ralu every morning. Again, don't forget to subscribe to both channels if you like to. And we are also, I want to mention that we're also on podcast on Spotify, Google, and Apple. So go follow us there too, okay? Thank you. And we'll see you Monday morning next week. Bye.
Bye bye.